course, we have to look at social context as well when thinking about how we interact with a song or how a song makes us feel. We can't just look at the musicological aspects of a song in isolation. For example, this chord makes me feel this way, and that chord change or those ascending notes make me feel a certain uplifted mood or whatever. These are structures that tend to be the rules, shall we say. We can call them musicological probabilities. But of course there are other things that we have to take into account. For example, a friend of mine recently mentioned Ian Dury's song, Profoundly in Love with Pandora, which he found made him happy because it reminded him of a certain time, being at school and all talking about Adrian Mole, which it was the theme tune for in the early 80s. For me, I have strange ones like Van McCoy, The Hustle and The Shuffle, because they're so far back in my memory that they remind me of being very young. Another one is If I Had Words, which was a number one, I think, 78. Hot Chocolate, Put You Together Again. These songs aren't necessarily songs that have a huge, they're not necessarily following those rules I talked about before about certain chords having an effect on me. It's more to do with the actual historical, biographical context that they appeared in. They take me back. A song can take you back, just like smell or taste. The Proust's example of the Madeleine pastry in Remembrance of Things Past, for example. Biting into the pastry or smelling the pastry takes you back straight away, instantly, to a certain time. Music has that power. So we have to look at social and historical context as well as just the musicological structure. But I would argue that the musicological structure, the rules of that do tend generally to be the biggest factor in how we respond to music. Of course, the other thing is lyrics. I think, for example, of a song like Ghost Town by the Specials, that very much conjured up a particular time and place in its lyrics. And Coventry being my hometown, it really struck a chord with me because it was a song all about the feeling of desolation and social deprivation in Coventry in the early 80s. You can look at other artists such as the Smiths for immensely important lyrical power. I was looking for a job and then I found a job, and heaven knows I'm miserable now. This is one of my all-time favourite lines. In my life, why do I give valuable time to people who don't care if I live or I die? These are great examples of the lyrics kind of being at the forefront. Although, having said that, of course, with Ghost Town, you've got the same musicological things going on. You've got minor chords, diminished chords with Ghost Town, which bring about a very sort of dark and mysterious, moody feel. With the Smiths tunes that I mentioned, you've got the guitar playing of Johnny Marr playing otherworldly chords while Morrissey sings about very worldly things. So you've got that contrast. So I would say that yes, we have to look at social and historical context, and we have to look at lyrics and their meaning, where and when something happened in our life. But also, even with those examples, the musicological rules still are the most important thing. And talking about life history, we can also have songs that we may have otherwise have liked, but they happen to come about at a particularly bad time. 1992 was not a good year for me, and I remember really getting into an album by Ricky Lee Jones and Joan Armatrading. Brilliant albums, brilliant songs. Joan Armatrading, Willow, More Than One Kind of Love. These songs stood out for me. Down to Zero, I think, was another one. Then you had Ricky Lee Jones, Company, Chucky's in Love, brilliant songs, and I used to love to listen to those songs. But it was a very dark time, and it was winter, and I was in a cold flat, and the heating didn't work properly, and I now struggle to listen to those songs because they immediately take me back to that time. So I can see the beauty in those songs, but I don't want to. There's an aversion, a kind of biographical aversion to those songs. So that's an interesting one as well. My dad could never listen to I Can't Go For That by Hall & Oates because it came about at a bad time in his life. Brilliant song, of course, but another example. So we have to look at the ways that a song can, take us back to a great time, but also, oh my God, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back there. And that's when perhaps those musicological rules can be overridden, if you like, when emotional pain kind of overtakes the usual reasons why we would like a song.